Hey everybody, Efren here of The Real Pastors, and I am here with a brand new review for you for the new movie that just came out this weekend, Uncharted. Now, I was able to watch this earlier today, and this was a movie I was actually looking forward to. I played, admittedly, only three or two of the games that of Uncharted that had came out. I have not actually finished the series. I'm going to have to go back and do so because I've had plenty of friends who have said, hey man, you need to finish this series because it was an awesome series. And so I will do so. I promise. Those of you who have told me that, I will do that. But anyway, so I've been able to play that. And so I was looking forward to this and just seeing Tom Holland attached to it with Mark Wahlberg. They're two stars here, and that they're the ones that are able to really carry a lot of this movie. And so this is one that was fun, our latest video game adaptation. And I will say that normally with video game adaptations, lately they've been getting better. But for the longest time, if you had a movie that was based on a video game, it most likely was going to be trash. And it was just a matter of, hey, am I going to have fun with this trash, or am I going to hate this trash? And thankfully, we've had some good ones. Sonic was good, Detective Pikachu was good. So we had some ones that are actually like pretty good. They're doing a whole lot better with some of these video game movies. They're still making some stinkers, but this is one that is coming out and hopefully is trying to put video game movies on the right track of actually making good quality movies. So I can see them going more all out. Getting these two actors to really try to carry this film. And this is a movie that is pretty much like, if you like Indiana Jones, if you like Tomb Raider, or if you like adventure movies like that, treasure hunting, man, this is exactly what that is. It's again, like the video game is as well. And so you have these two that are teaming up to be able, sorry, my head's in a million places today, but they are teaming up to find some treasure, and they are going up against Antonio Banderas, who is the antagonist in this, and he is also trying to find the treasure, because of course you have to have two people that are looking for the same treasure, so you can have some kind of conflict. If not, you're just going to watch a couple people hunting for treasure and then you're done. So there has to be some kind of conflict, which the reason why I say like that is because if you're expecting something new, if you're expecting a fresh take on adventure movies and treasure hunting type movies, this isn't that movie. This is pretty much, beat by beat of normal treasure hunting type of movies, and just a fun movie, honestly. I mean, that's all it is. You're not going to get anything new. There was one little surprise in it to me that I was like, oh, okay, they did that. Didn't expect that to happen. But I was quite all right with it. But there isn't really anything new. They're not bringing anything new to this genre or anything. It pretty much is what you expect it to be. And honestly, for me, I was okay with that. I mean, I didn't expect this to be something groundbreaking or anything like that. Honestly, I just wanted to come to the movie and have some fun. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to come, be entertained for almost 2 hours, and have some fun. And this movie did deliver on that. And I think probably one big reason is those two that you see right there on that poster. I'm going to pull up another picture here. They did carry this movie, and which is good, because I mean, there are other, everybody else, the rest of the cast and things like that. I mean, honestly, they did well. I don't think anyone really was bad in this movie. I think everyone did what they could and did the best they could, and actually did pretty well with what they were given and the parts they were given. They took it like seriously, like that they wanted to deliver a believable performance, but they also kind of knew what movie they were in. So I was okay with that as well. So that was pretty good. And the story, the story was kind of, again, just nothing new, nothing spectacular. It was normal story of them treasure hunting. You have some things going on with with these two and the history that they have, and you kind of figure out that history as it goes along, and you're just kind of one that you're like, okay, you kind of know where this is going, again, because, nothing new. But again, you have that, and it goes through, and I will say, for those who love the video games, maybe have played all four games, that this movie seems like pretty much a prequel to all that. It just is how Nathan Drake and Sully met, and how they got their start and they're able to get going. I will say there are two post-credit scenes, one that comes up right after the title, another one that's, I guess, more of a mid-credit scene. So stick around for those, and I think those who love video games, these video games, will really, really appreciate those two things, especially the second one. They really appreciate that one. So this is something that as I continue just to think through my thoughts here and all that, sorry, I'm drawing a blank. I told you it's been a crazy day, but anyways, so it was good, and you have these two that went together. And again, there's really like outside of these two. These are the two, I guess, most likable characters. Now, I will say, kind of shift gears a little bit. Like I said, this is fun. There isn't nothing new. It's just those kind of things. But a couple of things that was a little hard for me. And again, if you played the video games, I think you might agree with me on this. If you haven't, it might not matter to you. But it was kind of hard to believe Tom Holland is Nathan Drake. It was hard for me to do that. I think because part of it is it's hard to like look past his being Spider-Man and the fact that this is still so close to Spider-Man No Way Home. That movie's still fresh in my mind, and so seeing him do this is kind of weird to see him try to play a different role. And I think part of that reason is because honestly there was a lot of ways where he played Nathan Drake that he ended up still kind of playing Peter Parker. And so that made it a little difficult for me. It was like, man, I wish he would have done something a little bit different with the character to where it was able to divide that he is not Spider-Man, that he is Nathan Drake. So it was a little hard. And the fact that honestly that he is younger. And so this, when you think of Nathan Drake from the games and stuff, he's a little bit of an older guy. You don't think of this younger. I think he might be like 20 or I guess 21. I don't know. Excuse me, but either way, it was kind of hard to believe him in this role a little bit. Again, he did the best he could, and he did fine. But it was a little hard for that, to me to kind of make that transition. Honestly, there's this one scene. If you've seen the trailers, this is one scene in the trailer, anyways. But he actually ends up striking like the Spider-Man pose, which I thought was kind of funny. And I didn't know if that was them just kind of being meta and making fun of things, but because they do make fun of quite a bit of things in here. There's a little surprise in this movie as well. I mean, just with different things, don't want to spoil that for you, but this is something that it was like, okay, did he do it on purpose, or was this like a Tom Holland has muscle memory kind of thing, and this is just kind of what he did because he's been doing it for so long. So I thought that, again, kind of funny. Don't know which way they meant, but so either way, it just still made it hard for me to believe him as Nathan Drake. And this is, I think I'm to the point now with Tom Holland where I'm also ready to see him take on a different kind of role, maybe not be the hero or not be such a good guy or something, because it's already, now granted, the stuff I've seen him in, Spider-Man, I saw that Chaos Walking or whatever. Don't watch that. It wasn't very good, but he was in that, and he's always playing the hero. And so maybe if he was able to have something a little different, I'd like to start seeing if he has some range, if he's able to just do something different, like maybe not be the so good guy, or maybe be a villain. I don't know. Just it would be nice to see something different, to start to be able to see him as an actor beyond just Spider-Man, or see him be able to do different things. So when he does make movies like this, I can believe the character that he's trying to portray. And so that's kind of where I was with him. Mark Wahlberg, honestly, Mark Wahlberg is Mark Wahlberg almost in anything. If you like him as an actor and you have fun with what he does, that's pretty much what you get in this movie. You're not going to get something a whole lot more different. I don't know if that sentence makes sense. But anyways, you're not going to get anything different there. But but he is who he is, and it's actually kind of fun. And you get to see him trying to, weasels his way through some things, and because they're all con artists and all this kind of stuff. And so yeah, it was but he did a pretty good job. And then again, you just have them teaming up, people stabbing each other in the back, the whole no honor amongst thieves thing happening with them and with other characters. And so there's a lot of bouncing around and what's going to happen next. And again, if you're not used to these kinds of movies, you'll probably have a lot more surprises than like me or other people. But again, it just had it fun. They kept it moving. This movie, honestly, is just under 2 hours. So it didn't feel like too over long. Honestly, it felt like it moved at at first it moved pretty fast, and then it kind of slowed down just to be able to really flesh some things out. So I thought it was pretty good. A lot of the action and set pieces looked really good. There was only, I think, maybe like one scene or one shot really where I remember thinking like, you're on a green screen. But beyond that, everything else looked really good. And I thought they did a really good job, especially the last third act battles thing, final conflict. I thought that was pretty good, and it looked good, and I thought that was a lot of fun as well. So there's a lot of those kind of things, and so as I continue to think through this, I'm thinking as well, probably some bad things. It kind of goes back to what I said, because there's just nothing new here, right? Like there isn't. Like this is, if you've seen Indiana Jones, if you've seen National Treasure, if you just pick an adventure treasure hunting movie, like this is pretty much all those things. I mean, even little Pirates of the Caribbean, like you get a lot of the same kind of feel. So this is something that as you come in and watch this, just know like they're not breaking any walls down here. Like there's no new barriers being broken or anything like that. Like this is just exactly what they expected to be. And what it looks like to me too is because the way things ended and stuff, it does look like they want to continue this story, maybe just turn this into a franchise and have sequels and stuff, which I'm okay with, because as I was watching the movie, I didn't feel like they were jamming all this stuff in there to just say, hey, we're making a franchise out of this. They didn't do that, thankfully, but what they did do was towards the end was show you we have more plans, especially with the ending, but also with the post-credit scenes. We have more plans as long as this does well. So I think for that alone, I think honestly it made me think better of this movie because it was like, okay, so you gave us a pretty solid, good foundation to build upon, but I just hope that after this, what they do is they really start to expand on it. I know there's going to be those who love the video game series and want them to stay as faithful as possible to it, and I don't know. I mean, it's just really hard, just like it is with books, to just take the source material and just stick it on the screen. You got to make things work different. You only have about 2 hours attention span time for the most part for people. But I am excited to see where they go. And I'm grateful to see that they are already thinking of this, but they didn't do it in that way where I felt like, oh man, like what are they gonna do? They're speaking all this stuff that's in there. And so I was glad that that is not happening. And so there were just a couple of the things. I think that they had some things that were kind of cheesy. I honestly thought that there were some choices in there that were, like, to not spoil anything. There's some choices I was like, okay, so you went with that. I guess that's fine. Maybe it was just easy to write. So it just made me kind of wonder what they did with this movie was say, hey, we just want to build that basic foundation. And then once we get it done, then we'll try something else. But let's see if an audience will show up for this. And that's what it felt like. It felt like very much a trial run, right? Like where it was, we want to see. We just want to see if they are going to, if people are going to show up, if people are really excited about hearing this story. And so they played it kind of safe. And I think for me, especially when you're dealing with video game movies, people aren't expecting much out of it. It's either one or two things, right? They're not expecting much, expecting trash, or they're expecting you better make this as faithful as possible, or that's what they want. Maybe that's not what they expect. And I think they should have just maybe gone a little further, tried some new things. I wish that's what they would have done, but they didn't. They played it safe, and so that's why it's kind of like, okay, well, I wish you would have done a little better with it. But yeah, so those are just kind of some of my thoughts, and I think the length helped it a lot. So what I'm hoping for is for the future installments that they just try a little bit more. And you guys already heard a couple of my bads on here. And this is one that honestly, again, just speaking from a dad perspective, like, because that's one of the things we talk about is just, this is one that, if you have your older kids and stuff, teenagers, whatever, 13, it's PG-13 for a reason. There's a lot of violence and a little bit more, they show a little bit of blood and stuff like that through the violence. And so it's something that, know your kids, but it is one that I think will be, for the most part, probably a pretty safe family movie, as long as you don't have any kids too young that can't handle some of the violence and things that happen on the screen. But other than that, it is a pretty fun movie, and I think as I am going to be rating this on a scale of 1 to 5 Hail Marys, and just thinking through this again. Remember, 1 is complete utter trash. Don't waste your time on it. And then 5 is an utter masterpiece. Like, this is the best thing ever. So as I'm thinking through this and thinking, I had a fun time at the movie. It didn't give us anything new. It was hard to believe Tom Holland as Nathan Drake this time. Mark Wahlberg's Mark Wahlberg and pretty much everything. But it was a fun time in the movie. It wasn't anything special. They could have done more. So for me, as I'm thinking through this, as I'm trying to pull up my ratios, I have to just come to the conclusion that I'm going to rate this thing at 3 Hail Marys. It was good. It's passable. It was fun. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't this train wreck or anything like that. It wasn't bad. It was fun. It was very okay. It was fun, and that's all you pretty much get. And if you go in there expecting anything beyond that, I think you'll be very disappointed. If you are expecting a very faithful take on the video games, I think you'll be very disappointed. But if you're just going for a fun adventure treasure hunting movie, I think you will have fun with this movie. So I would say, hey, yeah, go watch it. If you can get to an IMAX screen, watch it on the IMAX screen because, again, some of the set pieces and the action sequences would look great on an IMAX screen. They did some cool stuff there. So if you can and you want to, I would recommend to do that. It was a fun time at the movie. And, nowadays, a lot of times that's what I'm really asking for. Give me a fun time at the very least, and I'll be able to speak well of this movie. And that's what I do with Uncharted. And that is my thoughts. And hopefully soon we'll have my buddy Gary back on here. And he's currently out of town. He is currently, he has different things going on. And he's all right. Nothing's bad. But hopefully we'll bring him back on here very soon. But those are my thoughts on the Uncharted movie. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you've seen it yet, please leave your thoughts in the comments below. And then again, if you haven't subscribed yet, I would love for you to subscribe and just to keep the Real Pastor channel going and going strong. And thank you for all of you who've already subscribed and have continued to support us. We thank you very much. We do not take our subscribers for granted, and we're very happy you're on this journey with us. So those are our thoughts. Uncharted, 3 Hail Marys, fun time at the movie. We will see you guys next time. See you, everybody.